because they're a new team. There is a player on that team called Mogau.
Mogau!
And Mogau is very well famed over in the whole of Europe for his Hades play. He's been around a long time, and he's just very efficient. People say Devios is the best Hades. That's a lie.
Yeah, it's actually, even I, the Devios fanboy, will say that Mogau actually has the best Hades, and it's by quite a bit. Was that Circuit?
That was a Circuit ban.
So Ao Kuang has made it through so far.
I like the Circuit ban. The reason the Circuit ban's there is Get Fisher is on the side of Myrmidons as well in the jungle. And it's one of his go-to gods. He's very safe on the Circuit. He's got a lot of escapability. Makes sense.
He had a very weak showing, by the way. If I was on Team Dignitas, my win condition would definitely be trying to focus down Get Fisher in that jungle. Counter jungle a lot, but Mirmadons does have the Hades pick here if they want it. Circuit and Ao Kuang get taken away. Fenrir is still available as well. We know Get Fisher loves that.
Well, we've seen Myrmidons before, though, in the Challenger Cup. They have picked up Hades as a first slot pick here. Maybe this is a bait by Dignitas, though. They've got a plan in store to deal with the Hades early on, if possible. We'll find out what they're going to go with. Bologna was available. Makes sense. Ratatoskr, though, still on the table.
You know, Ratatoskr,
feels different.
I don't know.
Now.
I'm starting to think that he's not. He's not, because we saw the Sapphire yesterday. It's not working. Plain and simple. Sapphire does not do enough damage. I don't think it did enough damage before. I mean, if you're Cyclone Spin playing in a random casual game, yes, it's going to work. But if you're in a competitive game where trying to get to the backline and hit a melee range attack, it's going to be very hard. Janus, however, not only Shadow Nightmare is one of his best gods, but this god is incredible.
Not just that, it's also one of Sayo's good gods as well, that he's been going to a lot. During the qualifications, DM, that's all we saw Sayo really play was the Janus. And that's Variety's Chronos. He's been playing it a lot the past couple of seasons. If you notice, last split, he played Chronos a majority of the time and had good success with it, in fairness.
Still pretty early, though.
It is very early.
Still pretty early.
With what's on the table available to them, that could be easily counterpicked.
Usually Chronos is a character we see picked down the line. Now, Bologna and Isis are both locked in here. Mirmadons still have one remaining. Now, Bologna is a little bit of a flex pick. She has support, she has jungle, she has solo. She does all three very, very well. Isis more than likely going to mid. Hades is still an option, but Myrmidon seems to be... Nope, never mind. There it is.
There we go. There is the Hades lock-in. I mean, it's going to be against a Chronos as well, so... Realistically, Hades should be able to push this lane in very, very quickly in the solo lane and then do fast rotations, quite simply.
So what I like here from Myrmidons is the fact that they lock Bologna in instantly. Considered a top-tier god, constantly being picked or first ban, always. She has basically 100% ratio of pick ban right now. And it's really important that they pick that there because they didn't believe that Dignitas would take the Hades away. Dig probably said they're going to lock in Hades, we can counter with Bologna, which is why we probably saw the Chronos so early. Getting it in the spot that they did before the second ban phase, Myrmidon so far have drafted an absolutely incredible comp, and they've done it to their strengths. Dignitas, though, not too far behind. They have a very solid team comp as well.
It is to their strengths as well. I mean, with Ymir and Ares taken off the table, which are both shots to Frezzy and to Frostiak in the jungle, Frostiak's now defaulted to this Thor, and there's the Athena pickup, which I like the Sylvanas ban there by Dignitas, because they knew they had the option first to get that support locked in.
Yeah, it's so smart. They're just like, okay, we'll pick Thor, we'll ban Sylvanas, and then immediately pick Athena.
I feel like Bacchus, potentially.
Bacchus.
Geb
is still available.
We did see, I could be Geb as well. We did see some Bacchus play come out from Dardes actually at the end, so I wouldn't be surprised to see him go that. Dardes is a support player that a lot of people have spoken about before he actually got into the Pro League, but it's going to be a Sobek.
Okay, so Sobek, Hades, decent amount of CC there. They have a really good front line. They have three characters that can hold front line. They have Isis to protect the back line with multiple forms of CC, and great poke from the team as well between Rama and Isis. So this is a very smart comp. Over on the other side, they're doing the opposite. It's all about the global presence. They have 3 global or semi-global ultimates with Janus, Thor, and Athena, all of whom can protect everything coming out from Chronos and Medusa. So I really like both comps. Honestly, I think both have drafted to their strengths, and we should see a pretty even game going into this.
Yeah, the big thing I could see from the side of Dignitas is mobility is a big factor here. Janus, global ultimate, like you were saying, Thor, global ultimate, Athena, global ultimate. Then Medusa, not too slouchy in the terms of the Hunter role for her mobility, especially because of a passive, which basically gives her a haste and fatalis.
All right, so we're into the game here. Just about a minute before the creep spawn, you're going to see a grouping on the left side coming out from the red team. Of course, that's going to be Team Dignitas. Now, Dig is basically playing a challenger here.
1 second. Zaden, can you just hover over what Sobek's item is there? Or is that just one item? He switched slot on the item. Okay. I thought he had a second item.
No, he has 2 actives.
No. When you switch items just at the start, it'll put the cooldown on. He switched it after he's used the item.
Oh,
so
I see.
I thought for a second he had like Eye of Providence or something. That's why I was like, what the hell is that second item? Because
that would have been dope.
He's blinked. He's used blink early before we actually saw it to probably just get there quickly to put an early ward down, which you can see on the map already.
Which is pretty clever, actually.
It can be.
I mean, you gain a little bit of movement, make sure he doesn't get caught. I mean, that way, if he does get, a little bit behind, he doesn't have to go into the charge prey.
And that's the best thing about Sobek in this current meta as well, because you don't need the hog right now. We're not using the Hand of the Gods. We're actually seeing Blink, so he can sit further back and still initiate with the charge prey.
That's true. That's true. And that's really important. Blink is probably the most not overrated, but most centralizing item in the game right now.
To be fair, I mean, Blink for a long time in Smite has always been strong. It's just been underutilized because there was other actives available that were just very, very good.
Just say Hog. Just say Hog.
Yeah, I mean, well, Hog's one thing, but then, like, Aegis, for example, the changes to Aegis changed that up a little bit too.
Well, yeah, Aegis has been dead for the entirety of Season 2, and honestly, I'm not too mad about that.
I don't think a lot of people are, really. I mean, they've only got beads to get themselves out of sticky situations,
and
which
like
are very
that.
strong still. They don't need two. That's just almost too much.
All right, so we're going to the mid lane here. Check out Sayo.
Premier God that he was very well known for a long time.
He was the only ISIS for a good year.
He was, but what's he like on it now? I mean, he's played some Challenger Cup. He took a long, extended break, and he's coming back into the Pro League. And
It's like riding a bicycle.
But he's still got it to prove. Remember when Game Hunter came back, NQ comes back. These players that have taken breaks and come back, they have a lot to reprove to show that they're still at that level they once were.
You know, it's funny that you mentioned Game Hunter because he went exactly to his old strategies. He went right back to Loki, even though Loki was considered weak.
I don't think Loki is considered weak. I don't think he's as weak as he could be, but his strategies didn't really work out.
Yeah.
Not a surprise to see exactly what we're seeing right now, though. The dual lane will get pushed in a little bit on Myrmidons early on, just because Acid Spit does clear the wave a lot more effectively than Rama can.
Medusa's not a joke.
And then if you check in with the solo lane right now, Hades is just keeping Kronos pinned under the tower, which is you expect. You know, with that amount of wave clear that Hades has.
And he's level 3 now, which means it's only going to get worse.
And look at the poke damage already.
Jeez.
You can see him continually kept under the tower, but I know for a fact Variety and Dignitas knew this pick was going to happen when they picked the Chronos. So Variety's going to be happy to sit under the tower and just farm up.
See, for me, it's a little strange to see the Chronos pick up when they know the Hades is coming, especially considering the Chronos is not going to have an easy time clearing. He's kind of unsafe, and realistically, one of the most important gods of gold farm, necessary for gold.
Well, one key as well, to take into account, Kronos needs to use its rewind in some situations, but against a double silence composition when you've got an Isis and a Hades that can both silence you out from being able to cast abilities, that could come back to haunt him a little bit.
Looking here at the duo lane. Nope, we're going to switch back over. Getfisher trying to make a play. No, he's going to think better of it.
I mean,
he's level 5, though.
Yeah, but I mean, going under the tower against the Kronos, maybe you're going to force the rewind, but one of you could easily die if a Thor just dunks down from the jungle. You've got to be careful about those situations.
Shadow Nightmare's still level 4. Are they going to go for this? No, they're going to retreat back to the jungle.
It's quite a slow-paced start, which I'm not surprised by either. I mean, the level 5s have been hit by Myrmidons first, and Dignitas are well aware of that. Going to play it safe, stay under the towers, wait for them to catch up a little bit, and look for the big... Honestly, Dignitas are all about the team fight, the big AoE team fight. Get multiple members there and find picks that way with the ultimates.
I want to see Getfisher get about 400 more gold and then immediately back. Or actually, only 300 gold. Get those boots online. His rotations have been very slow so far. He can't keep up with the pace of Thor. He needs to get that movement online. Now, speaking of Thor,
he's on the Goal Fury right there. Then how can we actually see if he's going to go up? He's thinking about it.
Coward.
No, I don't think it's about coward because Sobek's there. I mean,
coward.
Sobek's there, and Sobek's level 5, just in level 5 just now. But I mean, he was level 4 at the time.
Whoa, look at this.
Getting a charge prey, going to be an issue.
Minion kills in favor of Kronos right now over Hades.
But Kronos under the... I'm not sure how that one exactly works.
No, there's no science to back that up.
Actually, there is science to back that up, because if you kill all the enemy minions, those minions can't kill it. They can't kill yours, so you have more chance of killing them. That's the science, it's true.
Oh my
I'm not wrong. The way you looked at me then, I'm like, I'm not wrong, I'm correct.
Right side mid camp's getting contested here. We're seeing Isis try to make the play against 2. Getfisher a little bit late to the party. Does go into Ninja Tabby, by the way. He got both those.
I think he got one by the look of it. Hit a double tap as well there, though. Going to soak up that health potion. He'll be able to sustain for the time being, as left harpies are down, being taken as well. Keep an eye on these mid laners, though. I think Icy's got to be a little bit careful here, but Fish is in a bit of trouble.
Yeah, they're spending a lot on the mid camps. They're not able to take them down. Still not down. Looks like those went to Thor. It's still going. Fight going to be taken out.
This is risky now from both sides. Ram is actually in the sky, or he's going to be able to from the position of Myrmidons. He's going to rotate in for this as well. There's the dunk in, but at the same time we saw Getfisher manage to land the dunk, and now the portals are going to get Athena out as well. Everybody survives. There's no first blood just yet, but Dardes blinks in. He's looking for Frezzy, and Mogau is here.
Yeah, a little bit late on the ultimate, but he still manages to lock him in. First blood going to be going to Mogau.
Great rotation from Mogau there. If you notice, Kronos, Variety was forced back to base, well, not necessarily forced back to base, but chose to go back to base to get boots and get some extra clear available to him. Mogau, though, with a great rotation, picks himself up first blood.
So this is really big, right? This is the character that he is most famed for. He's already getting early gold. This is going to help him start locking down Kronos. And remember, Kronos went into boots here. A lot of times in the solo lane, we'll see people rush Warlock Sash or rush Book of Thoth for that early damage spike, start getting those stacks online. He's looking to extend this a little while longer. Still has the tiny trinket available as well. Hard to say what he's going to go into next. He does have a lot of options.
Now, we did say, you know, we've been saying, oh, at least I have, Get Fisher has a lot to prove this season. A lot of people in the EU think he's very underrated, but that play where he did the Eagles rally just before the Thor dunk was a sign of somebody that needs to keep continuing to do that. He turned that around, otherwise he would have been dead there, and that allowed Mogau to find that kill.
I don't think underrated was the right word. I think maybe out of his depth
was
a little bit more.
I think I'm just more polite when I say something like, yeah, underrated.
It is what it is, right?
It is what it is.
But like you said, that was the play to make. He knew Thor was going to land on him if he was in the front line. He read the ultimate, reacted perfectly. Eagles rally onto 3, set up the entire fight, forced Team Dignitas to escape, which allowed Mogau to get in there and get the kill. And that's very important, right? Because it's not just Get Fisher getting a kill with Bologna, right? That's not what it was. He set up the entire engagement properly for his team, which, like you said, he has a lot to prove this season, and he's on a good path to get that done.
Now, one thing about Mogau as well here, he has got Book of Thoth finished already, but what you also need to realize about him is he's very adept at going for the double stacking Warlock Sash Book of Thoth option. He may be interested in going for that again. He's going to be careful though, because he can set him up in a bad situation. But talking about that, Frezzy's a little bit caught here.
Yeah, he's trying to battle
Good
back
pull.
here.
Great pull from Shadow Nightmare.
Gardes in a real bad spot. No mana, no escape. And yeah, he probably will fall here.
I think he's definitely going to go down as Thor comes around their back. And now, with Rama going to the sky, though, it's going to be trouble for Jermaine here as well. Fisher and Sayo trying to do what they can to zone them off. They're going to find the kill onto Frostiak with a great Spirit Ball bludgeon combo and actually save Jermaine, who was in a little bit of a sticky situation for a second.
Yeah, Frosty has not had a good run so far. The first ult that he used missed completely. Right there, he gets picked off again. So far, he has not shown us what we saw so much of in the last split. Frostiak was considered one of the best junglers in Europe in the last season, and Season 2 so far has not gone well for him.
I mean, the big key with Frostiak as well is his Thor is very strong, but only if he gets going on it. He's got to get off to a very good start, and at the moment in this game, he's not managed to find what he wants to. That first dunk didn't find his target of Get Fisher. The second one did, though, onto Dardes and Rama, but they didn't manage to secure the kill without losing their life themselves.
Well, he's already 600 gold down, and realistically, Get Fisher's in a good spot. I mean, take a look. You got the Ninja Tabby into the short bow. Could be Iqbal, probably going to be Iqbal, could also be Oboe. Realize this is good, though, because they already have other frontliners. He's taking a lot of damage, though. Sayo's probably going down.
Berserker Barrage does go off. Dardes doesn't find the flipping time. He's now been portaled, and with that on cooldown, does use the Lurking in War as well. Unstable Vortex. Ooh, they still hurt.
Will he go? No, Frostiak does not have his ultimate available. He's
does.
looking to make the play, though.
Not going to go for it.
What was that? Was that a taunt? Is that a new taunt that does damage?
I don't think
if you're in melee range?
I don't think it was.
I mean, he meant to throw down the 2 there. It looks like he misclicked.
I'm not sure. Did he have the 2 available? Was that the question? Maybe it was on cooldown.
Maybe it was on cooldown for another
second. He wants
second.
to do his blue buff here. Frostiak's going to come in and fight him. And look at
baits!
that. He knows how to poke out. Good over the wall, though, coming in from Variety. He's going to have to give up the blue buff. But Mogau didn't do too bad there. He still loses blue. And that's the end of it.
Now remember, guys, for those of you who might not know the inner workings of Hades, whoever has Blight on them, when he uses Devour Souls, Hades will actually detonate them, gaining some actual health back, and then dealing damage in an AoE. So right there, he actually threw down the Blight onto 4 people as he rotated in.
Trying to make a play to Sayo again, but gets silenced out through space and time connects. But a great Eagles rally from Fisher.
Wow.
Frostiak using the portals wisely to get out of the engagement, but a flip in once again from Dardes means Shadow Nightmare's going to go through the same portals, and Sayo was already over there chasing down Frosty.
He missed the shot.
Finds the in-hand for the kill.
That was very, very close. Shadow Nightmare actually did dodge one of the Wing Gusts, but he needed to dodge everything. He actually baits the Spirit Ball to the wrong direction, but the auto attack, when he started circling around that corner and hugging that wall, you see Sayo didn't throw it along the path of the wall. He actually threw it a little bit off so that it would cover the hitbox if he stayed against the wall, but had a longer route to actually walk to get away from it. It was beautiful placement by Sayo, and even though he missed 2 abilities, he guaranteed the kill with the auto attack, and they maintained their lead.
Myrmidons looking very good good right now, but right on the left lane, you can see Iren's the newest addition to Dignitas, joined at the end of last season for the last game, trying to contest this buff up against Jermaine. Jermaine wisely just drops it there, and now with reinforcements on the way back, I don't think we'll see Renz come over one more time.
Hey, can we talk about the fact that Mogau put Vamp Shroud in the second slot, and I want to throw up?
Why? I did that when I first started playing.
Come on,
until
man.
Everyone was screaming at me for putting it second.
You have to. Look at how everything is messed up. There's a starter item in the first slot of every slot except for his.
That's Mogau. Mogau is the special. He's the king.
No.
He's the one.
You can't do things
He's the
like
chosen one of EU right now.
Can't do things
with his
like
Hades. Picked up that Book of Top of his, 44 stacks online.
Yeah.
As we see Bludgeon under the tower from Get Fisher as Frostyak's in a bit of trouble there. The Spirit Ball from Sayo on point again.
You'll notice that Get Fisher actually had perfect auto attack cancels there as well. Shadow Nightmare flung back. Silence going to be forced. Oh, it's almost got him. Real low. He's going to get out all the way. Get Fisher with that speed buff's looking to chase, but I don't think you're going to find him.
No, they won't find him, Renz. Oh, the Rama snipes, though, were looking for him on the backside. They don't manage to find it as Renz was trying to give him options, but Jermaine actually went for the snipe then onto Shadow Nightmare. Couldn't find it. It was very close.
Well, little victories. They're going to pick up Thor, plus they're going to get the red buff. They'll waste the ultimate as well from Shadow Nightmare. They'll get some creeps into the tower, forcing Frezzy to maintain that, allowing them to get left mid camps, likely right as well as you see them starting to rotate. Very good run right there from Myrmidons.
Now Hunters as well, as you be tuning with them one more time, you can see they're both working on Devourer's Gauntlets. 66 stacks online for Ren, so that's nearly finished. 60 for Jermaine. However, the boot choices are different. Warrior Tabby versus Ninja. Talk me through it, DM.
So the Ninja Tabby attack speed, right? It's a little bit strange. We don't see that a lot on Medusa, considering her early game is all about power. So he's really looking just to outbox. He thinks that he is just going to outbox Jermaine front to back. He wants the extra attack speed. He's not going to rely on abilities. Jermaine, on the other hand, I'm sorry, vice versa.
Okay.
Sorry about that. A little bit of discoloration on the monitor. Jermaine going to be using the attack speed from the 1, which is very important on Rama, compared to Medusa, who, yes, normally goes into Warrior Tabby, is very damage-based in her abilities. Acid Spray has high scaling, Viper Shot has high scaling, and then, of course, her ultimate as well.
And then on top of that, take into account the boosts don't really make that much of a difference if they both go for the same build.
2%.
It's a 2% differential, 2%. Dependent on what god you're actually playing as well.
To me, it's much the actual DPS on a standard.
Big engaging mid lane. Sayo's already destroyed thanks to that, and now Frezzy is here as well. Eagles rally away from Fisher. Dardes is here to try and save the day, but Frezzy denies the safety option and takes Fisher down with the reach and the damage under the tower.
A 2-for-0 play. Are they going to go for the Gold Fury here? Yeah, Medusa has already started. Rama can attack here. Still has his ultimate. It looks like he's going to wait and try to go.
Here we go. He's going to go up to this guy. Can he find the snipes? 2 here, but Dignitas get it. He's going to go for the 3rd for damage. It does land onto Medusa, who lacerates away early. Dardes in the area, but they're not going to find him in time. Mogau does try to rotate, but that's going to cost him his tower, DM.
You know, would the Warrior Tabby have made the difference? It's hard to say. Like I was going to say before, it's a 2% difference on a standard target, on a target who is in front of you, allowing you to hit him. When you actually factor in scaling versus how much damage you could do to someone who's standing still, Warrior Tabby generally are a little bit stronger because it's much easier to hit abilities than it is to hit auto attacks.
So that gold swing, as you saw, has increased even more just because that solo lane tower did go down as well, which is an additional 500 gold to the whole team, as Mogau did try to make the rotation. I like the call from him to give up his tower, though, and try and go for that engagement and support his team. I think the play has already been made, though, in the mid lane.
Yeah. It's going to hurt, right? They lose that and the Gold Fury. They lost 2 kills right before. Dignitas now with a lead that dictates their difference in gold, but a lack of difference, however, in their side for experience, putting them maybe not really in the lead. Gold worth a little bit more than experience point to point, so it is a small lead, but for all intents and purposes, the game is basically even.
Pretty much even between the two. Big rotation left here coming out from Get Fisher as well. Dardes alongside him. Those left harpies are spawning relatively soon, so Fisher should be in a position for those if they know they're available, but through space and time. Whoa. Channeled on this right-hand side. Shadow Nightmare looking for Mogau, who uses beads preemptively there. Well, not necessarily for in case he was stunned, it was for cooldown, I guess, more than anything.
His dash wasn't on cooldown. He used it to get it back immediately. He didn't know that they weren't close enough. He wasn't looking at the minimap, he was looking at the screen, so it winds up hurting him a little bit, but it's not a huge loss. Trying to dive here. Dardes has a really good line. No, Frezzo too tanky.
Frezzo is too tanky, but Fisher did great work to keep Frostyakk out of that fight. Shadow Nightmare is here, though. That taunt's going to force beads onto Fisher. Backside variety Variety comes in, instantly beats the Spirit Ball that came out from Sayo, forced away by Jermaine, but Fisher will fall to the portal of Shadow Nightmare, and now so will Renz.
They're trying for it still. So far, a 1-for-1 exchange. Renz for Fisher, probably in favor of Myrmidons, considering their jungler had just fallen. That was the first death of Medusa, and obviously Medusa's farm is much more important. They also have 4 people here, but take a look in the jungle here, Zayden, on the top side. You're going to see Thor is taken to the sky.
Up. He is going to go up, but Frezzy is kind of low there. They're going to push forward a little bit. Jermaine just got taunted in there, as we saw. The dunk down only connects with Mogau, and on the front side, Dardes should fall down here. The tail was going to buy a second. Great Spirit Fall from Sayo, but the wall and double tap is enough.
That was beautiful. He shouldn't have lived there for as long as he did. He properly baited everything towards him while still dodging it, putting Frostiak into a bad position. And since Frostiak chose the target he was least likely to kill, it gave Myrmidons enough time to turn around and take that. Now, of course, they did lose a support, but Frostiak wasn't too far ahead. In the end, it comes down to the fact that Irens died in that fight. They didn't lose the Hunter on the side of Myrmidons. Very small victory for the side of Mimi.
The one thing in that as well is Mogau, when we saw the dunk down from Thor, he could have teleported to his hammer after he managed to pick up that kill onto Dardes, but the silence was just the right time to stop him from jumping to it.
That's Sayo. He is a master of this god. If Sayo at any point was ever known for a god, it would have been this.
I mean, they've got double silence as well, which is something that is very difficult to play around. You can play around 1 silence, but 2, it's a difficult ask.
Silence is probably the most underrated status effect in the game. CC in the game. I mean, it's especially Isis's, who steals protection, she slows you, and she silences you. Hades has a, 2.25 seconds?
It is. Right, and it's a low cooldown as well. If it's the lowest.
Can we actually hover
CC
on Hades' silence? Give the people at home a little better idea.
There's a taunt in mid lane. They're going to see it's 2 seconds and 11 seconds when maxed out as well. Shadow Nightmare through space and time looking for Dardes. The Eagles rally comes out to stop Frostiak getting damage off. Dardes is lurking in the waters right now. Here comes Variety on the backside, but eats a Spirit Ball, has to rewind away. But guess who's waiting in the wings?
Got him, and his beads are down. He's caught, and he will be eliminated. Mogau, credited for that kill, going to be going forward here. Applies Blight to some creep, space control. Frostiak will fall as well.
Great play. He used circular protection there, DM, and the in-hand as well is what secured him the kill.
You know, not only increasing the damage of the circular protection, but adding that little bit on top as well, just blows it up, gets another one. That's going to be a 2-for-0 as they pressure in. Unstable Vortex on cooldown means a guaranteed tier 1, and with that, Myrmidons will take the lead.
Frezzy does go in for the taunt, not too worried about taking some aggression. Very tanky right now.
They don't take it down.
They're not going to be able to find it this wave, DM. It's low enough, and now with the Hunters potentially rotating in, here's Renz as well. Actually, Renz is just doing left harpies. Can they find it here? They're going to need to go soon because those respawns are happening shortly.
All right, let's take a look at the graphs here, see how things are shaping up. Myrmidons, of course, earning a lot of gold back, just barely behind on gold. The experience difference is huge.
Myrmidons are winning. How do you feel about Myrmidons anyway? This is the first time we've seen them in the Pro League for their first performance up against, and honestly, Dignitas were a pretty established team last season. How do you feel about them? Looking strong for me.
Variety kind of got caught there once again, right? But Mogau covered the option. He started keeping track of where the 8 seconds would put him, and he kept himself on that side of the jungle. As soon as Variety threw himself backwards, he locked him inside the ultimate and picked up the kill. This is kind of the difference here. It seems like Myrmidons is a lot more ready to play SMITE as a 5v5 game, whereas Dignitas are kind of playing separately, and that's kind of always the way they've been. With the exception of Shadow Nightmare, who is very trusting in his team, it seems like the team is playing 5 separate games right now.
Well, I mean, Myrmidons as well, to take into account, in the Challengers Cup, you play multiple games a single day. It's a long stretch of 6 to 8 hours. So these guys have been able to play with each other multiple times and get used to each other's play styles. The boys of the Pro League, not so much.
Dardes was lacking, guys. That had nothing to do with
chilling.
anything. Yeah, it was fine.
It was baits.
Yeah, he set it up. It was good.
Taunt from Frezzy, but no backup there. Shadow Nightmare was looking for Fisher. Does find the Unstable Vortex, followed by a portal. Not a poke, actually, coming out there. I believe Shadow Nightmare must be... Oh, what level is he right now? Level 16. He might have maxed portal first, actually.
It looks like he... Can we actually hover on Shadow Nightmare here?
Yeah, it's portal first.
Portal is maxed, and he has that spear already.
That's the one thing about Giannis that I love, DM, is that you can go Threshold or you can go portal, depending how you want to play the god. Do you want to be aggressive? You go portal.
Speaking of aggressive, Blink in pull. Gonna find 2. Dardes taking a lot of damage. Isn't down just yet. Circle of Protection will block out and keep him alive. Tier 1 stands.
Mogau once again rotates over. He's left a wave there, but Mogau's here to support. They know he's there because of the ward, though. In the Hunter position, though, look where they are. They're dancing around that God Fury right now, both looking at the rotation while the minion wave was dead.
Mogau's looking to get in here. Iren starting up? No, not going to go for it. Still have a dance, although a rather defensive dance coming out from the blue squad. Three-man taunt, 2 sets of beats. Sayo's almost dead.
Oh, he's going to survive though on the front side. Get Fisher though did go all the way in very deep. Use the Aegis to buy him a second. Eagles rally away. And Hades ultimate. Oh, he was expecting Thor to dunk him and he actually dunked Sayo, who's trying to get back to base. Now with Frezzy coming in, the pulls used to disengage Frostiak. Frezzy can jump away and Jermaine's the one on the front line he doesn't want to be.
I love the way that Mogau played that. I loved it. I love the ultimate coming out there to block not only the Thor ult, but any advancement towards Sayo. But Frostiak right there, finally finding that huge dunk, picks up Sayo and a huge amount of space control. This strange thing is we didn't see Team Dignitas immediately rotate over and pressure the Gold Fury. Could they have gotten it? Hard to say, but they could have forced a fight, and that's a fight they definitely would have won.
Now, I like the call that Mogau's gone here for the rotations, but the problem is going for this Warlock Sash build that I see him do countless times again.
Double stack!
He's not going to get the stacks up if he's not farming the lane.
That's true.
And that's going to be an issue. Potentially Ethereal Staff would have been better here because he's not getting the stacks as efficiently as he would like to.
It's not off the table, though.
It isn't. It isn't. He could go all 3. Ooh-wee.
But, I mean, they have time here, considering the fact that Rama's pretty late game, the way that Get Fisher's building is pretty late game, right? They could still push this out. The problem is they can't allow Variety too much time. He's already got that Demonic Grip online. He's got the Bancrofts.
If you let it go late game, DM, I think Dignitas has the composition. Snipes coming out from Rama. They did reset the Gold Fury, and Fish is in trouble. Eagles rally for damage. Protections are given to him as well. He's going to go down to Variety and Frosty in the air. Where's he dunking? He was looking for Sayo, didn't find it. Instead, he finds some Wind Gusts.
A lot of damage. Mogau forcing the beads. Iron's almost down here. Variety taking a lot of damage as well. Mogau's too tanky, trying to stick with it. Devour souls, and a shot from Dardes is going to be all she wrote.
Jermaine feeling himself, still going in, looking for Shadow Nightmare. Has to use through space. Mogau covered the option again.
Beautiful play. That's going to give the Gold Fury right away. There's no way for them to contest this safely. If Frezzy moves in here without Iren's backing him up, he's likely to die very quickly. You can see Dardes is not the one tanking here, which is very smart. He has the ability to zone and control, and that's what he's going to have to do. Frezzy's trying to make the play here, and I don't know that he has any even remotely enough damage.
That is the cutest reach ever. Hi-ya! And then it's like, no, I'm done. I'm out. Peace.
Could you imagine?
If he did it with that, I think that would... Well, to be fair, we saw Gab do it.
It was Kronos.
No, but I like to say it was Gab.
No, man, it was. You gotta give credit where credit's due.
It was an in-hand,
and it was Gab. Actually, like it was Gab. It was Gab. But let's take a look at the graphs again. I mean, that was a big win right there, and they're going to spike the lead back up. You see the gold difference starts to climb, dips a little bit, climbs back up.
That was a bit of a mistake there, I feel, from Myrmidons. They missed an opportunity for that free mid tower. That mid tower was very low. There was only 2 people defending it, a Thor and an Athena, and with the 3 of them there, they could have just taken that tower down. Instead, they chose the Harpies.
Well, it's not like it's not like the tower is going anywhere, right? I mean,
yeah, but it's 500 extra gold.
Right, which they could take it pretty much at any time. At any point, Jermaine can just walk up to that thing and throw a few auto attacks.
Agree, but then map position's another thing as well. They lose the option.
Oh, right there. Iren suffering from the reduced range of the acid spray, a nerf fairly recent to the meta. Oh, is he going to go for it? Let's see what he's got here. 1, good. 2, slow. 3, found him. But Get Fisher credited for the kill. Still, huge play coming out from Myrmidons once again, shutting down Medusa, and that's going to be a tier 1.
There we go. They realize they can go for this opportunity here. Thor's going to rotate in. Shadow Nightmare does have ultimate available. They're going to give this one up. However, Variety making a rotation to mid lane, so they may trade left tower for this middle tower.
They're going to get a tier 2.
Sayo is back. I don't think they can.
Frostiak does not have a way to hold
Shadow
this
Nightmare's
safely.
coming. Shadow Nightmare can come at any moment with a pole. That's the thing. They've got to.
And Athena too. Yeah. They're going to rotate. They have to.
Oh, blink in from Frezzy, looking for the taunt onto to Jermaine, who does use those beats. Dardes zoning Shadow Nightmare out, keeping him busy. Fisher turning his attention there, but Jermaine's in trouble here. Great Eagles rally, rewind force of Variety. It's exploded before he can get it off.
They're trying for more damage here. Shadow Nightmare very low, forced to escape. Frostiak trying to find Sayo. Nice use of beads there to stop the knockback, and Berserker Barrage will find him a double.
Frosty's still trying to stay alive though, going to get a good wall off, jump to his hammer to get some distance. The rest of his team disengaged. Meanwhile though, Hades and Mogau does manage to find that tier 1 finally, and he's pressuring the tier 2 already. His wave clear is very strong. Actually, I was going to say very strong, but he missed a lot then. That's surprising for Hades Perez. Frosty sticks around a little bit too long. They're going to be careful, trying to save his buff.
At the end of the day, it winds up being a 2 for 2 with Iren's going down, but they find 2 tier 1s on the side of Myrmidons, allowing them some extra gold. Into the graphs will go again.
So the graphs you can see it's 2,700 gold in favor of Myrmidons, but 8,000 experience is something that you can start writing home about. Look at the level 20s coming out now from the side of Myrmidons. Already Mogau there, Sayo soon to hit it, and Jermaine as well across the way. Well, it's not the same story.
Well, speaking of Mogau though, the stacks are starting to come online. He's 59 right now.
Oh, he's got Rada Tahui.
Yeah, and he's got Rotted too.
He just finished Rotted too.
Can we actually hover on Hades once again and see that damage?
That was really strange. Okay.
There he is.
There we go.
He's almost 500 right
Fisher,
now.
a little bit caught out here, but does have the Eagles rally if he needs to get out of trouble. Tanking up the front line.
Beautiful play.
And now with Mogau coming in too, the portal's going to actually trap Shadow Nightmare inside it again for a second. Has to throw space and time away. Rewind comes off from Varieties. Jermaine does find Rens. Meanwhile, on the backside, Sayo turns up as Frezzy was trying to come in to support. He's in trouble. Variety trying to fight off too, but he's being forced back. Oh, that was a big crit from Jermaine for sure.
Yeah, it was a really big shot. Variety with no rewind, going to be forced back there. Shadow Nightmare with no ult and in the base spells one thing, and that's disaster. Fire Giant going down for free. No one to stop this one.
Oh, Shadow Nightmare is on his way.
Oh, he's
Unstable
quick.
Vortex can do something.
He's quick.
Of course he is. It's Giannis, but he's not got through space and time.
God.
Unstable.
Oh.
I got excited. Too soon.
That was so fast. You know what's crazy is actually if he hugged the wall right around the rock near blue buff and went right to it and just shot it, he would have stole it.
I would love to find out how many people voted for Myrmidons to take game one, because that would not have been me for sure. I think Myrmidons looking good, but didn't think they'd have the opportunity to get themselves in a position against Dignitas like this. And this is a great start for them if they can close this one out. Dades blinking him. Not going to find the charge prey though, thanks to a wall from Frosty.
Oh, they're going to back off here and go for the tier 2 on left. They're just trying to extend the gold lead. Now, we're not going to see the Gold Fury for another 50 seconds here. The correct course of action is for them to take the left side, get the tower down, and then go for the Phoenix. Once the Phoenix is down, or if they, are forced to escape, they still have the Gold Fury to fall back on.
Well, established team are Dignitas and now know exactly that game plan what Myrmidons should be. And so they've grouped on this side now as a 5-man unit as well. Frezzy's going to have to find a good ton. They can get that into a Medusa ultimate. That should be a good combo, but remember, beads are available.
All right, they're going to be rushing in here. This is pretty much a guaranteed tier 2. Dardas by himself is just locking them away.
Blinking from Frezzy at the same time as the charge play connects. He's going to get banished out as we follow him with Dardas on the backside. Frezzy took a lot of poke trying to taunt up for the team. In the sky, though, is Jermaine. He's going to find 2. All 3 connect as the tier 2 tower falls. They're still pressuring.
Man, it's crazy. Jermaine is like channeling his inner Moex here. I don't think we've seen him really miss one shot yet.
The Frenchman doing great work for himself and his team. Fisher tanking up the front line. Taunting from Frezzy as Throstiak takes to the sky. Dardes in a little bit of trouble on the backside here. Could get dunked on. Shadow Nightmare forced out. 3-man dunk from Frosty.
Not going to be enough, though. The damage just isn't high enough. Variety's not finding the hits, whereas Jermaine certainly is. Frezzo getting very low here. He's locked in between multiples, finds the portal, gets out. Get Fisher getting low as well.
Good Aegis. I think he's still going to go down, though, because reinforcements are here. Frezzy's there with the taunt. No Aegis this time. Sunshine. Unstable Vortex misses. Sayo looking for the wing gust. Frezzy jukes him out. Mogau says no. Access denied.
Sayo just missed 3 of the 4 wing gusts, a move notably very hard to miss. Variety taking a lot of damage there from the Devour Souls. Spirit ball to the
wall.
back.
Mogau half-healthed him and Sayo half-healthed him again. And when you go half and half, well, that makes a whole, boys and girls.
Hindu man.
I'm sorry.
All right, so they're going to go towards the Gold Fury, it seems. They got 2 tier 2s, a Phoenix, the Fire Giant. They're stripping away the jungle. This is a really good spot for them. Once again, let's take a look at the graphs here just to see how this is going. And obviously, you can see Golden Hand. He's almost at that threshold for an absolutely full, and I mean full, Deathbringer.
I really feel, DM, of how the current meta is that if you're above 7 to 8k gold lead, you're generally in command. You're generally unkillable at that point. But it's very difficult to lose in that
7
situation.
to 8k with the Fire Giant buff as well.
Yeah, that's true. And the sustain from Mogau as well. With the amount of damage he's putting out, he can heal his team back up as well.
So here we go. Jermaine has more than enough for the full Deathbringer, which means we're likely to see that be finished up. He's going to finish up his beads. He's likely to sell the Death Toll as well. Yeah, there it goes. He's going to buy,
So
another short sword.
Getfisher's build here. We've seen where he's gone. He went Ninja Tabby. Spirit Robe is being worked on right now. Iqval, Heavy Hammer, and Chins.
Now, talking a little bit more about the crit. Now, this is just for something everyone at home. If you ever have enough gold for Deathbringer or Rage plus a short sword, always get the Deathbringer.
Well, talking about going for kills necessarily. Under the tower, Dardes goes through space and time, does connect with Dardes there on the way out, but the heal from Mogau is just too much from to sustain. He pops his beads, for cooldown again, disengaging. He saw where the portal was going to heal off the creeps. As Sayo does bring down Renz over in the left lane.
That's important.
Where Jermaine is. This was a 3v4.
This is really important because they're doing a lot of damage to Frezzy. If they can find this kill, that will likely be the game. Mogau going in will find it just with the death from below. They're going to be pushing in towards... No, look at this. I thought they were going to go in with the fire minions. This is... Yeah, they're just going to push them away, take the tier 2 and the Phoenix. Right now, Myrmidons are poised to win this game.
Well, tier 2 tower will fall finally. Mogau should go in here and heal up his team. That should be the call from the team. There we go. You'll see him all group and heal back to full health.
If there was ever an argument to be made for full damage Hades, like there it is.
This isn't ever an argument to make sure you banner Hades. Mogau is where it is.
That, you know, as a person who has played in this setting, I can tell you the conversation went, I think we could deal with it.
Oh, for sure.
I think we could deal with the Hades. It's not that big of a deal.
But what he's done, he's rotated exactly when he needed to, time and time again, been involved in every team fight, and he's now 8-0-6 because of it. Is he going to find it, Jermaine? Jermaine?
One. Needs 2 more.
Can't see it.
Needs the last one.
They
No,
were blind shots. They were blind shots. I know we could see it on the spectator, but they were completely blind. And Jermaine, well, he had the right sort of idea, just not going to find the execution he wanted.
Fire Giants up here. Jermaine going to choose not to back. The blink has been baited. Looks, oh, nice. Ultimate right there from Renz. I don't know if it's going to be enough. Jermaine, though, takes a lot of damage from the Spirit Gun. Sayo going to fall to Shadow Nightmare off the chase.
Yeah, but Sayo did manage to at least pick up Frostiak on the engage. Mogau is in a lot of trouble here. Oh, is this a mistake from the boys of Myrmidons? They had this game in the bag and they've held on too long. Fire Giant is available, like you said. They could potentially go for this here.
The lazy back really hurt them. Frezzy's here. Get Fisher's available to fight. Now, a little bit of a strange build considering there's chin size with no penetration, but he still has a decent amount of control. The issue, not a lot of defense, which means he can't be the warrior frontliner that we're known for. You know, people like Hercules.
Left Phoenix is under threat, but Variety's there defending to the best of his ability. Luckily, he is a Chronos, though. And I think that's one of the reasons we didn't see the call for the Fire Giant there, DM, is because they had to defend that Phoenix. Otherwise, 2 Phoenixes down and trying to do a Fire Giant, you could just lose the base.
See this, by the way? Variety built Chronos Pendant. What a narcissist.
He's all about himself, isn't he?
Can't believe it.
Would you build Chronos Pendant if you were called Chronos?
No, it's ridiculous.
Okay.
Of course I would. What are you, drunk? We're gonna all the new items coming out in the next patch are all named DM blank.
Polynomicon on Hades.
Yeah, he's been doing work with it. He's been doing work with it.
Polynomicon on Hades.
It's working, man. You can't argue with the kid.
I mean, to be fair, the most important thing about playing Hades is making sure you land your in-hands to make sure you get those blight procs.
And how much damage does he have? Like,
a lot.
The guy's got to have like 600.
But he did just die, so that was a bit of bonus gold for whoever picked him up at the end of that one.
613.
And his extra lifesteal too.
Yeah, right? Like, he needs that.
Dardes is zoning at the moment, though. As the Fire Giant does finally get taken, Dardes kept them all away. Enough. He's going to engage, force the beads on Renz there. He didn't know that backup wasn't really that close just yet.
There's a possibility he could have landed that Spirit Ball, but either way, a Medusa losing her beads already, especially when the only other item is Heavenly Agility, we're not going to see him last very long in this next fight.
Well, 31 minutes, 50 seconds in. The Phoenix on the left is weakened, and that's exactly where the Myrmidons are going to head over to start to siege up once again. Dardes could potentially tank this up, but with a 5-man army of Dignitas here, they have to be very careful.
Moving in, Dardes starts the initial tank. Sticking with it. Get Fisher taking a lot of damage, and there's not a lot in return. Jermaine getting body blocked.
Frostiak does use bees and has to disengage again. He may have his ult available. He does. He's going to go up to the skies. Meanwhile, the frontline Fisher is zoning them all back solo. Going to get hit by the Thor. Duncan walled off as well, but the Phoenix is down. And that wall hit 4 members to stop them getting involved.
Either way, though, they do get the Phoenix. They only drop the Get Fisher for it, which is probably the least of their worries. Bellona had already used her ultimate. She wasn't going to be as useful anymore. They still protect the carries. They still have their front line. This can still go well, but so far a successful defense.
Successful defense
and
indeed. And now with the circle of protection, Frostiak does fall. Mogau fighting with Variety, who has to rewind. You can't rewind through that damage, son!
How much damage did that just do?
I don't know, but...
Was that 1 tick?
I think that was 1 tick.
Oh my lord!
So for anyone at home, it was like, what's so good about Mogau's Hades?
Oh my god!
That's how you play Hades.
You should not be able to. Dude, that was like 600 damage.
6. Well, easily. It was like 1 tick. It looked like 1 tick to me because he couldn't have in-handed during that. 827 magical power he had.